Welcome back, YouTube. Installation number 5 here on the Empyrion Galactic Survival single-player Chronicles. GG Rageriot back with you again. It's been a minute since we put up a video. Been playing a bunch offline just to get through some of the grinding here in single player. We have a lot of resources to gather over this large planet, and I took some time off camera just to go through and explore, gather some resources. And you can actually see a bunch of the different nodes I uncovered here, or deposits as they call them. You can see the resources on the right, out of how many are there total on the planet, how many I've discovered. You can still see that there are a few left to uncover. You can also see this part of the map right here is quite bare. I'm sure there's some stuff over there, but I haven't made it out there yet because we're running around on that darn motorbike, which is way too loud and, to be honest, very painful to navigate around with the terrain. So we've gone through the last tutorial on the last video, which was getting through all of our grow plots, harvesting our food, getting some sustainability behind us here on the planet as we survive. So that being done, I actually want to go through and just take a quick look. Here's our beautiful garden. We got a bunch of we got some action already. Nice. Drones. Yeah, now that we've settled a little bit, the drones are starting to flow. So you may hear that go off time to time when we're sitting here building, but essentially we have our grow plots all set up with sustainability for canned vegetables. We got some coffee beans, we got some wheat, we got some fiber, everything that we need. Some of it's ready to harvest, some of it's not. I'm going to wait for everything to be fully done. You can see my tomatoes haven't come in yet. So we're going to wait for those to get all fresh. The pear things haven't come in yet. Actually, that's corn. Corn's not ready yet. So, like I said, we did a bunch of stuff off camera here just to kind of speed things up. Like I said, I want to keep these short clips, 10 to 20 minutes. Some of them range a little bit differently depending on the tutorial itself. This one, I went ahead and did a little forward thinking before I went and started recording. So you'll see here, this is all the stuff that we needed to create or craft here in the constructor before we could actually build our small vessel. Now I had to unlock some stuff on our tech tree, which I'll go through later on. But basically this tutorial now is going to walk us through building or crafting our small vessel, which is going to allow us to explore the planet much more efficiently and effectively. It's also going to allow us to leave the planet, head up to the moon, which we're not going to do in this video. We're going to do that in another one. Like I said, I want to keep these digestible. I want you to be able to jump in, get out what you need, and leave happy. I don't want to drown you in an hour of grinding and harvesting and all that good stuff. So we're going to take all of this stuff, fuel included. We're going to take everything here that we built and or crafted, put it in our inventory so we have it ready to go, and essentially you can see here on the tutorial, let's get it to a space where you can see it. Up on the top right, place a starter block. That's this. Starter block is basically going to give you the core and some minor other blocks with it. So actually, let's come up to a little bit of a flatter piece of area up here. I think this is good. This way it'll sit somewhat flat. And there it is. Successfully completed, place a starter block. And now you'll see some of these other essential vessel blocks, they're calling it. Cockpit, RCS. RCS allows you to turn your vehicle, a generator, a fuel tank. So before we jump into any more, I'm actually going to go ahead and remove some of my weapons here so we have a nice free build. And so what do we need? We need a cockpit, so let's grab that. We need the RCS module, let's grab that. Generator and the fuel tank, so we'll grab the generator and the fuel tank. Now, this is going to be a very bare bones build. It's just to get us around to explore so we can get to spots quicker to harvest, because once we actually get into later levels and we can build better ships, we're going to use excuse me, our tech tree to unlock more stuff here that as we level up we gain access to. But what essentially the main goal is for us to be able to blast out these blueprints. So you can see a bunch of different stuff here, all the prefabs that they have, stuff that I actually grabbed from the workshop. There's a ton of content out there for this game, and being that it's an early access, I'm sure there's going to be more to come. So I'm excited to get into those, but again, baby steps, right? Let's get through these tutorials, and let's get everybody out there building, essentially sustainable, and really ready to go for further exploration throughout the galaxy. So, next up we want the cockpit. So, essentially, scroll up, and you'll see it'll place it. Now, quick reminder, or I should say a quick note to those that are new to the game. This is early access. You're going to see bugs. You're going to notice glitches. Report them to the dev team over on the community area within Steam. They're collecting all the feedback, listening to the fan base, which is awesome, which is why I've invested so much time in this game. They're listening, which is great. But you will notice some bugs. One of the big ones, for example, if you spin the cockpit the opposite direction, the pointer on the mini-map up in the top right, the direction is going to be reversed. So, as soon as you see it, just drop it. There. Done and done. Cockpit is done. So we're going to put on our RCS block next. I'm actually just going to, I told you, this is basically going to be a very bare bones build, because I just want something functional that I can get in and fly around with minimal protection. I'm going to have a little bit of defense on there, a little bit of offense on there. This way I can take out some of the bases if I need to, or drones if I see them out on the planet, which they are out there. Actually got taken down quite a few times off camera while recording, so this one's hot and live. So once we go through, we encounter some drones, we're going to take them down. I'm not going to do a whole lot of exploration. We're going to continue building. RCS module we're going to put there. Next is going to be our generator. I'm not sure. Let's actually do it like this. Let's put the generator here, and then we'll put the fuel tank. We'll actually spin the fuel tank. Insert and home, by the way, to change your plane rotations. For those that aren't aware, as we get into more building stuff and I start to put out creative content instead of the survival content, I'm going to get into a lot of the tips and tricks of how to create things. You have a mirror plane you can use where you can, what's done on one side is duplicated on the other. It makes building pretty crazy and pretty intense. So we're just going to rotate it around so I can get it to where I want it. I want it popped up like that. See? There we go. Now that section of the PDA is complete. If we come in here and look, you can see check 1, check 2. Place a starter block, we did. Add essential vessels, we did. This is the cockpit, RCS generator, and the fuel tank. Those are awesome. Next we're going to work on now are the thrusters. Now, we have 6 thrusters, and we're going to place those, basically, think about all points of movement as if you were in space. So you have up, down, left, right, forwards, and backwards. So what you want to be able to do is take and rotate some of these around. Let's rotate it this way. This way you have one in the front. And what I like to do immediately is to have the matching one. See, I left this little hole back here. I want the matching one, and it keeps rotating it. There we go. There we go. So now we have our forward and backward motion. Okay? Really nice, simple to do. So we put that this way. Sun is starting to set. We got to get this built before the sun sets. So we're against the clock here, folks, but that's quite all right. So what we're going to do, we're going to rotate this one around. So we have our left and right movements. Okay. Now we need our up and down movement. So what we're going to do here is on the top one here, I'm going to flip it this way. Right? That's correct. Okay. I don't want to use the drone, so we're going to do, that's going to be our upper, and then we're going to take over here in the front. I actually wonder if we can, should have placed this one as, alright, so let's do this. Let's switch it up real quick. I'm going to take this one out, make sure we are on disassemble, and I'm going to take this one and place this one facing down. Okay, and then we're going to go back into our inventory, grab the other thruster we grabbed, and now this one's going to be placed forward. So now we have all of our essential moving thrusters to be able to navigate through space. So let's go ahead and put this back in here in our inventory. Now if we look at the next tutorial, we need to add an O2 tank. So we're going to go ahead and put the rest of our stuff on there. O2 tank, we got ammo box, we're going to need weapons we're going to put on there. We're going to fill the ammo box with weapons, cargo for later, a couple of extra blocks on there that we just removed from an earlier build. So those are going to be lovely and ready to go. Keep those together. And then landing gear. Landing gear are a little bit advanced. They're in the tutorial just to have them. You really don't need them until you build a capital vessel and you're docking and moving to other systems. So, we're at about the 10-minute mark now. Remember to drop a like if you're enjoying the content, sub if you want to see more. Heck, if you don't like the content, thumb it down. Tell me why. That's all I ask. Now, back to the content. Next up is our oxygen supply. So we're just going to put it right here. And then our ammo box is going to go over on the other side over here. And now we're going to add our 2 weapons right at the front, right next to the thruster. So we're going to have a Gatling gun on that side and a Gatling gun on that side. Remember, super bare bones build. We're not going crazy here. This is like a little scout vehicle that we're going to use all throughout the entirety of our adventuring, so to speak. Now, next it wants us to put on our landing gear. Well, it's kind of on its side, and to do that, we need to get fuel in it first. So let's go ahead and put fuel in it. Now let's do a little quick test. Let's jump in it. Y on your keyboard powers it on. And you can see down on the bottom is saying here, hint, switch on main power, Y, or via control panel to operate the unit. You can also come into the unit here itself. You can see the whole entire control panel, kind of like how we looked earlier on in some of the actual base control panel. And you can see active, inactive. I like to go ahead and do a quick group, and I'll put everything together. And you can see powered down here. Let's just name this Scout, if I could spell. Scout, and it's powered here. And this is where you can also turn it on or off. This way, if something happens to where you get ejected from the ship for some reason, or you accidentally jump out and it's way up in the sky, excuse me, you can just check that off, run it through, and it'll come back down. I had to do that a couple times. You can actually access it through your registry. You come here, tab, registry. You can see all of your different items here, whether it's capital vessel, small vessel, hover vessel bases. You can access them all here in the registry and enter their control panels remotely. So your stuff will never get lost. You'll know where it is at all times. And that's a little bit more of advanced. So we're going to actually, T is for lights if you wanted to know. We don't have lights on it yet, so we're powered up. There we go. The O button on your actual keyboard is to stabilize you. This way you can roll right, you can roll left, and you can see the ship moving around and wobble as they do that. O to stabilize yourself out. But you can see this is going to allow us to get across the map much easier and much quicker than that old-fashioned motorbike. And that's perfect timing as the sun sets, because one quick thing we need to do is I'm going to drop this thing down on its side. So we're going to do I'm going to attempt some advanced maneuvering here. I'm going to roll onto my side, and I'm going to power it off. Then I'm just going to jump out. F to enter. This way it's on its side. We could do some work on it. I would leave it hovering, but I don't trust it, so in order to get this done nicely, we're going to do one on the back and then one on the front. So now it wants us to add additional blocks, and I'm pretty sure that's like a storage block, so we're going to go ahead and power it back on. We'll try to level myself back out. So I can. Oh, there it goes. Go on, come on, come on, you can do it. You can do it. Let's try it again. Ready? There it goes. Nice. A little tough with only the 6 thrusters. Usually you tend to have a little more thrusters on the left and the right, and in the front and the back to help with maneuverability. But we did it. We did it, YouTube. We got our landing gear on there. We're good to go. The only thing we got to do now is actually find a nice little home for this thing. I'm probably going to do that off camera just to make a nice little landing area to make it feel a little bit more homey, a little more lived in. Powered off. We're going to jump out. For now, it's fine right there for now. We're going to keep it close enough to the base. This way, if we do have drones come through, the turret can take them out and they won't focus and attack. I think our plants are going to be mostly done. Corn is what we're waiting on. Yes. Corn and tomatoes, they're all done. All right, let's go ahead, harvest everything really quick before we check out our finishing of the tutorial. There we go. Let's put these over in. Yeah, that's one thing too. When it gets dark out here, it gets dark. We need to get some lights up on this base. That's going to be after all of our tutorials are done. Go ahead and make some canned vegetables. And the final piece is to add additional blocks. So we have a little bit of storage space that we want to use. And I'm actually going to take... See how it's a square? Well, some of the pieces in the game, not all of them, you can do a right click. and it gives you different options. I'm just going to put a flat cargo box on top, right in the center. This way, when we do go exploring, we have some extra space that we can put stuff in, so we're not running back every single time. Let's see how. Let's actually put on the light so we can see a little bit more. I know we had the oxygen generator was kind of tucked in the back, I think. Oh, I don't have my helmet on. That's fine. We got a little bit of oxygen. Let's go ahead and put that into the oxygen tanks over here, because once we go out onto space, we're going to need that oxygen in the ship as well as for ourselves if we had an oxygen machine, but we don't. Let's see if we can place these blocks real quick, just so we can get an ugly build. See, now, place the additional blocks is not registering. Fridge, I think. Cargo box, store loot, and a fridge. Did we make a fridge? I'm not sure if we made a fridge. Let's look. Did I make a fridge? I don't think I did. I did not. So, let's see how long it'll take to make a quick fridge. Come in here by all your sorting buttons, which is always a good thing. Over here, and let's make a fridge. I thought I did make a fridge. I guess I didn't. That's okay. Oh, not RCS. Stop. I want a fridge. Thank you. There we go. So it'll make the subparts. See, and this is a lot of stuff I did off camera. Was the grinding and the building. Some of the stuff takes a while. Think about all the different parts we just put on our ship. Well, all of those build similarly like the fridge is building now, so I think that'd be kind of boring. But hey, if you're into that sort of thing, let me know, and I can put up hour-long videos for you to sit there and enjoy the grind. All right, so let's go ahead and move this up. Hopefully that should take care of the tutorial now, but I want to eat food because I don't need to die of starvation. As you can see, we have one in there. Food growing nicely, a low gold pot, that's awesome. Now let's come over here and let's take our fridge. This way when we travel, we have food that we can travel with. I'm going to place it right in the middle. See what it rotated a little bit. Beautiful. Congratulations. You've completed PDA Chapter 3, Building a Vessel. So now if we come and take a look at our PDA, you can see all of these tutorials are now complete. In all the other previous content, I've walked through all of these chapters, one by one, to give you guys and gals a better feel for how the tutorials work and how the game is played. We're going to get into some more survival stuff here in the later chapters or entries here in the single-player Chronicles, but they're going to be more exploration-based, and there's going to be a little bit more action coming soon to where we're going to engage with some of the bases. Here come the drones. I told you, see, and as we progress, that's one of the beauties of it. I have it on easy to make content capture a fair bit more efficient and effective, but they still do come, and they will shoot things and take your base out, so make sure you're protected. That's going to be it for this one. We're at about 18 minutes right now, which is almost perfect with the 20-minute sets we've been doing, and those are going to be our closing argument shots fired. Thank you, autocannon, for handling. Yes, nice. Take out those drones. Look at that. Yes. Loving it. That's a perfect segue to end the clip. As I'm talking about action, it happens at the end. So be prepared for a little bit more lively footage here over the next couple of entries. And again, if you like the content, please subscribe. If you really enjoy it, drop a like. Tell me what you like about it. If you don't like it, please thumb it down and tell me why. I can't make it better if you don't tell me what's wrong, right? So without further ado, we're going to kill it right now. And I hope to see you all next time. Until then.